Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother, Love Ruthie. Ruth Smallshaw Ray's Letters to Her Mother, 1951, Part 60. 1560 Luxor Road, East Cleveland, Ohio, February 26th, 1951. Dearest Mother, Daddy, and Bud. What a nice weekend we've had. It's so nice to see John again after only seeing him at breakfast and supper at 9:30 or 10:30 all week. For the first time since I've known him, he's confessed that he's finding something difficult. It isn't that he finds the courses themselves hard, but it's strenuous in itself to go to school every night, let alone working and trying to get some homework in too. Really a marathon, and I certainly admire anyone who can do it. I just hope he does stay well. Ann Duff is still having a rough time of it and looks so worn out. Wayne doesn't even attempt to go home Tuesday and Thursday nights, and John just eats and goes to bed. It's been 8 weeks and they still haven't got their evidence course marks. The dean said there was 1 failure, F, no A's, 2 B's, 70 C's, and 70 D's, which sounds bad. 30 fellows failed the January comprehensive, which John takes in May, so I guess it's not exactly a cinch. We drove to Akron Saturday night to see Ann and Wayne, and Joan and Lenny. Lenny were there also. Very nice evening, just chatting. They're all coming here next Saturday for a sort of shower for Mary's, not just a hen party, but a mixed shower, because I don't see enough of John as it is. Sunday we met John's mother and dad and Carol at the flower show, and we all enjoyed it so much. Then they came out for dinner. I was sort of nervous, but it was okay. My old standby, ham and corn and salad and strawberry shortcake. If the first meal I cook for you is a ham, you'll know why. John's mother hopes you'll come in June and wants you to visit them in Sandusky too. They made us feel very good about our new things. They seem to like everything. His mother said that everything we have is really beautiful. It pleased us so. They brought us jam and jelly and pickles and nuts and jello molds and a box of chocolates. They enjoyed seeing the pictures, and we had a very nice day. Certainly a lovely family. Carol's sweet too, and says we'll be seeing a lot of her if she goes to college here next year. Finally got the colored snaps. We'll send a few to Grandma and Grandpa. We think they're the best pictures, don't you? Also our snowstorm pictures. My regular spring, what to do for next year problem. It always works out, but I still go through it. In Saskatoon, it was where to teach the next year. In Florida, it was where to teach or whether to go back to university or whether to stay in Florida. Last year, it was whether to get married. Now it's whether to teach another year or whether to think about starting a family. I'll be 27 next year, so getting on, and yet another year working might set us up better financially, or at least allow John an opportunity to start on his law career. Well, we'll see. Maybe I just don't want to teach another year, and I'm trying to examine my own motives. I guess it's not all so simple, though. How's Marnie? If having a baby is as wonderful as being married, it will certainly be terrific. I've thought about it a lot lately and have come to the conclusion that a great deal of ambition stems from unhappiness and a sense of inferiority, because nearly all my personal ambition has disappeared now that I'm so satisfied. Of course, I guess I've just transferred it to John. I hope that I'm doing a good job this year at school and wonder if it's my duty to teach another year. One of the mothers took me out to lunch today, which was nice of her. I took Miss Bender to see the movie Kim last Friday night, since Saturday was her birthday. Good movie. Write soon and talk to me. Love to Bud, and how's Bud doing in his course? How much longer does he have to go? John's parents were asking about him and his job and future. Got Daddy talked into driving down yet? Or do you favor the idea at all, Dad? Write to us. Love you, Ruth and John. 1560 Luxor Road, East Cleveland, Ohio, March 12th, 1951. Dear Mother, Dad, and Bud, what a nice, happy letter from you last week, Mother, and it was very nice to see the picture of you on 11th Avenue. Long time since we've seen you. Both John and I had planned to write to you over the weekend, but it seemed to fly by. There were a few things we thought we ought to explain. We're so glad that you've decided to come to see us, and we'll let you decide how and when. However, a couple of things I forgot about when I was urging you to come for our graduations. John's graduation will be Friday, June 8th. My baccalaureate address will be Sunday, June 10th, and my graduation will be Wednesday, June 13th, all close together. However, John takes his law school exams the end of April and then starts on an even more intensive minor whiner review course 5 nights a week from 6 to 10. Now he's only 2 nights review and 3 nights school. This will last until just before the bar exams at the end of June, so that around the time you'd be here for our graduations, he'd not get home until 10:30 p.m. Tired, and he'd also be studying weekends, and we'd probably both be under a strain until the bar exams are written. Then, too, if I were graduating from a small college, it would be different, but here there are so many that I don't even know if we get presented individually, but probably go to various places after to receive the diplomas, although I'm not sure. So as you see, while it would be wonderful to have you here for it, we'd probably have a more enjoyable visit if you came in July. John wants you to decide yourselves, but thought you ought to know the facts, which we haven't even realized, as we hadn't thought it through in terms of days. I checked on car prices, as John thought the Plymouth you quoted was high compared to a Ford. We liked the Studebaker best. Now you said a 1950 Ford. They only have new 1951 Fords at $2,050, or a used, nearly new 1950 Ford for $1,550 or $1,650. The next 4-door 51 Plymouth is $1,750, or $800 to $1,800. If you got one here, will they let you take it across the border, or is there a high duty? Then, of course, there is a 10% difference in money, so you're probably better off getting one there. As for a bus trip, it's grim. I'm young and strong, and the last long bus trip from Regina here just about knocked me out. Of course, you can take it slower than I did and make stopovers, but not always where you want. I enjoyed our car trip back last September best, but then probably because it was our honeymoon. You don't have to go through big cities, but most road maps show highways that bypass them, which saves time. About the flying, I discovered an air coach ticket to Minneapolis and then a round-trip ticket to Regina via Winnipeg was the cheapest way. Spent more time on figuring that than buying a wedding dress. I just phoned, and air coach return, you buy 2 singles, would run about $64 American money, $70 Canadian, from Minnesota to Cleveland and back. So if your return ticket, Regina to Minnesota, is much less than $100, that would be better. I can check times to make connections if you decide on that, but it should be cheaper than straight fare first class, unless, of course, you wanted to go via Toronto to see Chris. John said to leave the decision to you. A car trip should be fun if you all cooperate to make it so. John said that the only thing he ever felt against his dad was the fact that he wouldn't let him drive until he was 21. Now he sees both sides of the story, wants his car to be okay, and yet feels that fathers should have confidence in their grown sons. We went to the Ballet Russ Saturday night, a new experience, and so nice to have a husband that likes to do things like that too. I'd planned to go with Ada Friday, but John seemed like he wanted to go too, so we all three went Saturday night. Very lovely. I'd been reading some of John's books and got entranced with Richard Halliburton. I read it until 4 o'clock a.m. Saturday morning, swimming in the pool in front of the Taj Mahal at midnight. Poor John, I was convinced he should quit his job and we should take our savings next August and go to Europe, visit London, Paris, and Cannes before we have a family, like you two did, and can't travel as much. It would be wonderful, but he didn't get so enthused. He says he'd like to travel, but doesn't like the idea of no job. He's been to Greece, but I haven't. Oh, Bud, if you want to do any traveling, do it now, and we'd love to see you this summer, too. We've had lovely weather. Our flowers are coming out. We went for a short drive yesterday, and the many, many beautiful homes, an awful lot of people, must make an awful lot of money. Oh, Mary, the girl we had the shower for, her father is news editor of the Chicago Tribune. John got a B in evidence. Good. Wayne Duff got a C. Hope you're all well and happy. Love you, Ruth and John. 1560 Luxor Road, East Cleveland, Ohio, March 18th, 1951. Dearest Bud, it's a long time since we've written to you, and a long time since we've heard from you, but hope that everything is okay with you now. As usual, I'd like to ask you a favor again. Seeing that it's Easter, we'd like Mother to have some flowers, and would rather not have to go through all the difficulties they seem to manage when you phone or wire flowers from here. I know, or rather think that I remember, that she'd like a corsage of violets, if they're to be had in Regina, that is. If after phoning a few florists and you can't get them for next Saturday evening, the day before Easter, then maybe an Easter lily would be a nice idea. That's a potted plant. If you or Doris thinks she'd rather have a corsage than a plant and violets are not available, then maybe some other corsage in yellow, white, or mauve would be nice. I'll send a money order along in a day or two for $5 and hope that's about right. When I got to the post office, they'd changed it so that only banks can send them, and they're closed now. This is rather late to be sending this, but I got the bright idea of sending Mother another hat instead. However, due to my exam and a million other things I seem to have to do, I haven't had time to go shopping, so hope that this will give you enough time, and sorry for the unnecessary delay. Hope everything's going well with you, dear, and if you see your way clear, hope to see you this summer. Hi to Doris and write when you have time. We'll send the money order tomorrow and hope that's okay with you. Happy Easter. Love, Ruth. 1560 Luxor Road, East Cleveland, Ohio. Undated. First day of spring and it's snowing. Hi, honey bun. Thanks for getting the flowers for Mother for us. We thought it was one of the very nicest things for you to do when you and Doris went to church Christmas Eve with Mother. It means so much to me that John takes me to church every Sunday. Longed to buy a big egg with Bud on it today, but a long way to send it, and it'd probably smash. But hope you have a happy Easter day. Love, John and Ruth. To be continued. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Good luck to you with your efforts in family history. If this interests you, finding, preserving, and sharing old letters, diaries, and photographs, and interviewing elderly relatives while they're alive, you might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History, with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. So far, we have made 570 history videos in 7 areas: world history, American history, book reviews, poetic tours, Cleveland baseball, family history, and autobiography. You also might consider checking out our podcast, Adventures in History, which you can listen to on Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, and Radio Public. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. And I'll see you next time.